Massive win for Phil Mickelson this weekend, becoming the oldest major winner ever. 50 years old, almost 51 years old. And it just goes to show that hard work and determination pays off. He's got a lot of passion for the game, and you can hear it when he talks. You can read it in the articles that everything about his life is geared towards winning. His lifestyle, the way he eats, the way he trains, the mental preparation that he goes through. He knows he's getting older, he's got to work harder, and he hasn't lost any of that drive. In fact, he's gotten more of that drive. He's obviously got a supporting family that supports him in this legacy that he's building, and he's also very grateful for that. So you can hear it in his voice. He's not just talking about himself. He's actually lifting up his family, saying thanks to them and for the support. So he's definitely aware of everyone playing a vital role in his life. Now, looking at Phil this week, you could see a lot of planning and a lot of preparation went into this event. He got a driver built specifically for this golf course to help him hit longer drives, not necessarily straighter drives, but longer drives. And that again helped him to almost lead the field with his approach play. So you can see on this drive over here, he's just smashing it. He's not holding back. And I think he averaged 313 yards off the tee. That's in the top 5 of the tournament. Outdriving players like DeChambeau on certain holes. And then he's obviously approaching the greens with great skill and precision. And we'll look into some of the key movements again for a guy like Phil. So let's just scroll to this next hole. I think it's a par 3 coming up next in my video clip. Yeah, there it is. So just scroll to where he starts his swing. There we are. And we're going to just look at his shoulder plane again. I think it's such a theme for great ball strikers is their ability to get their shoulders to rotate on the correct plane. Now, if I can just get this thing to scroll. There we go. So we're going to scroll to the top of his swing. Almost to the top. There we go. And I'm just going to draw an arrow here. So I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see clearly. Oopsie. Take away some of those. Let's get him centered. There we are. Okay. So if you look at his shoulder plane, again, through his shoulders, down to the ground, maybe a meter or two beyond the golf ball, it's hitting the ground. Another common theme for great ball strikers is the way the hips are rotating and tilting. You can see his left hip is higher than his right hip. So because he's left-handed, we're going to have to reverse those things. So let's call it his trail hip is higher than his leading hip. Okay, his leading shoulder is lower than his trail shoulder. So it's pointing down to the ground, creating nice angles so that you can actually hit the golf ball with a downward angle of attack. Now I'm just going to pop up another line over here. And I want you to pay attention to how he rotates around this axle. So his spine is at a 90-degree angle with his shoulders, which is pretty common sense, right? But just look at how he maintains those angles. Okay, there he goes. Through the golf ball, halfway through. And spine angle still tilted, shoulder plane still down to the golf ball. So if you can do that, you're going to hit some great approach shots, just like Phil did on this particular hole. Okay, so I'll take those lines away, and let's just see where this thing finishes. If you look at the board, 191 yard par 3. Maybe it's a 7 iron for him, maybe it's a 6 iron. It's on the green, it's all that matters. Making a par there. Let's zoom out over here. Again, just look at his driver. You can see he's not holding back at all. He's just smashing these things. He's always been an erratic driver. But he knows if he's hitting it long enough, he's got a shorter club into the green, giving him a greater chance of saving par. Okay, so he's got another iron in. I think this is a 9 iron if I remember correctly. Okay, so there we are. We'll just take him to the top of his swing again. Let's take him to there. We'll zoom in a little bit. There we are. Okay, so Phil Mickelson at the top. A line across the shoulders. You can see again, it's hitting the ground maybe a meter beyond the golf ball. Okay, that's a common theme for great ball strikers. Look at his trail hip again. Look where it is. Can you see it's higher? His trail hip's higher than the leading hip. And now look at this as he comes down. He's going to reverse those two positions. So his right shoulder, his leading shoulder is going to go higher than the left. Okay. You can actually see his shoulders have come through on a slightly steeper plane now. His shoulders are pointing down to the ground now, which is also quite common for great ball strikers. Okay. Look at his hips again. His right hip, his leading hip is higher than his trailing hip. Okay, and look at that axis that I drew. He's still rotating on that 90-degree angle and then only lifts up. Okay, so because we're playing golf off the ground, you've got to be make sure that you've got a relationship to the ground. The way you're going to do it is getting your upper body down to the ground, getting your lead shoulder down to the ground as you rotate back, and rotating the trail shoulder down to the ground as you make impact. Okay. All right, so approach play is still a common theme for winners on the tour. You know, if you want to make a big improvement on your game, go to the range and hit 7 irons down towards sandwiches and try and control those distances. Okay, so here's a look at his stats for this week. Approach play, 8 shots made up on the field, 5th place. Okay, how did he do that? With great driving. You know, he was hitting longer drives than normally. He had a specifically designed driver for this tournament, and that enabled him to hit better approach play shots. Short game is always great. Phil's always great with his sandwich or lob wedge or pitching wedge in his hand. He can chip and pitch from anywhere, giving himself to save par. And his putting, he's always been an average putter on tour. They call him a streaky putter, which means some weeks he's extremely hot, makes a lot of putts. Other weeks he's below average. You know, so basically a streaky putter is an average putter. He's just going to one week make a few putts, other weeks not make any. And you can see that this week he always made up shots. Now, my question to you this week is, do you know your game? Do you understand your specific needs and where you need to improve? If you don't, this is a great way to learn. Get the Golf Stats Coach app, and combine it with the Golf Coaching app, and start recording every shot that you play. Start recording your shots when you practice, and become your own coach. Start learning about movements required for hitting great shots, approach shots, movements required for hitting great drives. Start learning about movements required for hitting great chip shots and pitch shots, bunker shots, movements required for consistent putting. There's so much to learn. If you're keen and you're passionate about the game and you want to keep on exploring and pushing the boundaries, I would encourage you to learn about this method of coaching. It's online. It's cheaper than your average way of a lesson. And I think you're going to learn just as much, if not more. All right. Have a great week, everyone. Let's learn from Phil. You know, push ourselves, keep on improving in all aspects of life, not just in our golf or our sports. Okay. Cheers. Look after yourselves. Bye.